Welcome back to BMO Field here in Toronto as the lake, well, it's kind of opened up and decided to start pouring sideways here as camera operator Steph, she's stuck out there. Thankfully, we got her some popcorn, but the flags, you can't even read them from the Grey Cup champions here in the double blue as we see the lightning strikes that are in the area. That is the reason that we are game delayed current status right now. The CNE game here from the Argos and the Ticats, and we are going to bring you, of course, all sorts of great things moving forward. But for now, we have to send you back to alternate programming. Thanks for being with us. Hello and welcome to BMO Field, everyone. That's right, the flags. They're sitting still. Who saw that one coming? It's the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Toronto Argonauts from right here in downtown Toronto as we get an opportunity to see these two teams in the East show off coming up in week number 12. It is great to have you here with us. It was nasty for the last hour or so just off of the lake shore as it was raining sideways, but finally we have got some great conditions to play football in as we get set for the anthem. Juliana Jones has it here tonight from BMO.
We ask that you please stand if you're able and join Juliana Jones for the singing of O Canada.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patient love, in all of us command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, that true north, strong and free, from far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
Thank you, Juliana.
It is the CNE game here in Toronto. Marshall Ferguson alongside Dwayne Ford. Good to be here with you. Matthew Shinetti was wandering around the field with an umbrella in the middle of a lightning storm as well. So we hope that Shinetti is down there safe and in one piece. But we've been waiting for this one all week. Why not wait another hour? It's going to be a great football game, Dwayne.
Yeah, no question about that. Two teams now very close in the standings following last weekend's results. Always a great rivalry battle, but it has a bit of a playoff feel to it here in midseason.
Yeah, it's one of those that you kind of get the sense it doesn't matter if it's in week 1 or week 21 or Labor Day. Otherwise, we know what this is going to feel like. And the great challenge now is getting a sense of exactly how the heart rates are going to be jumping as we throw it down to the coin toss to find out how we'll begin the proceedings here this evening with our lead referee. It is Ben Major.
Okay guys, I'm going live. Guys, this is the coin we're going to use today. The Argo logo is tails. The league logo is heads. You recall? Heads. Heads is a call, Eric. Do you want to show us, please? Heads is a call. Heads is a call. It's a tail. You've won. Defer. You're going to defer your choice in the second half. You're going to take the ball. Which side do you want to kick from? Okay. Stay as you are, all right? Hamilton will receive at this end. Have a good game, guys. Wait up.
Arlene Lowood of Langley, BC. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save On Foods' $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If a kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns in this game, you could win $1 million. Good luck, Arlene, as we get set to go. Wynton McManus making his return to BMO Field, wearing some strange colors on that uniform tonight.
Yeah, always a terror against the Ticats during his time as a Toronto Argonaut. When McManus changes sides in this Battle of Southern Ontario during the offseason, he'll be looking to get after this guy. Toronto Argonaut quarterback Chad Kelly. Now he's looking to strike that balance between risk and reward, putting up big yards, but a lot of turnovers for the Argo offense so far this season.
Mike Miller, the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts, his first season as the lead man in double blue, and he told us this week he's got all kinds of things still in bags and boxes, and they'll probably get to them after maybe American Thanksgiving, which, by the way, is after the Grey Cup, 11 days after the Grey Cup to be exact. And Scott Milanovich, he is here, he is with the team. He was away for much of the week due to personal reasons. Bob Dice was planning to be the head coach if he had an opportunity, but Scott Milanovich back on the sidelines. As there you see Bob Dice, of course, still running the special teams and the assistant head coach, but the Tiger Cats have settled in, trying to create as much normalcy, Dwayne, as they possibly can in a strange week for them on a variety of different platforms. Bo Levi Mitchell, during the rain delay, came over and said hi to us, which felt super weird considering that he was the runaway MOP to start the year, because Trey Ford, again, is starting here this evening.
Yeah, much debate, obviously, during the week as to whether it would be Trey Ford, who finished up the strong performance last week, or Harrison Frost, who left that game at halftime due to injury, but started very well prior to that and had been essentially identified as Scott Milanovich as the starter of choice, so to speak. But Trey Ford did enough last week to continue under center here this week.
Chad Kelly watches on. We get set with the ball on the tee. Probably the most sour note of that delay before we get a chance to play football here. I could see a ride from the CNE, Dwayne, that just says Miami. It was anything but for the last hour. It was not warm and wonderful and beautiful. It was nasty, but thankfully now the skies have cleared just enough for us to get an opportunity to play some meaningful CFL East Division football. As the ball is on the tee for Brady Lidster, ready to go to work here for the Toronto Argonauts, and Isaiah Wooden is back. Myron Mitchell alongside him for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They have fired the cannon, and the delay is over. Thank you for your patience, and thank you to the CFL playing football on a now Saturday evening as we get going with Wooden returning across the 20 and wrapped up just shy of the 25-yard line. We get a look at Trey Ford, the leading man for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. We'll see what his game has to offer for us tonight in these conditions.
Yeah, again, Trey Ford coming over from Edmonton in the offseason. Expected to be the backup behind Bo Levi Mitchell this year. Obviously, a change of plans when Mitchell went down. Ford taking over as the starter. Some ups and downs for Trey as he settles into Scott Milanovich's system, but had over 100 rushing yards in a win over the Argos a few weeks back, and a strong performance last week.
Ford begins with an inside handoff here as Larry Roundtree gets a little bit of love, and in their all-black uniforms, here's the Tiger Cats starting offense.
You take a look at this group. Liam Dobson, the former Winnipeg Blue Bomber, moving from guard to center this season. Lessons learned from now Argonaut Chris Kolonkowski during their time together in Winnipeg. Carrick Wheatfall coming off a season-high 9-catch, 108-yard performance in the win over Saskatchewan last week.
Still see the rain heavily coming down here at BMO Field as Kenny Lawler takes his usual spot at wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. Ford looks to throw for the first time this evening, winds it up and over the top. It is Lawler, and lost it in translation that time. Benji Franklin supplying the coverage, but none was needed as Lawler couldn't find it.
Well, you can see by the proximity to Kenny Lawler with which this ball landed that he would have had a shot at that, but just unable to track it. You know, initially looked like he was looking for it over the inside shoulder. It comes over the outside shoulder, but just unable to find that one after the turn.
Tiger Cats go 2 and out to start things out. Could see plenty of the punting units, of course, bringing added responsibility to the special teams coverage units. As they do an excellent job covering down that time, and Chad Kelly hits the turf for the first time here at BMO Field following a somehow victory despite 4 interceptions against the Calgary Stampeders, and again a troubling one on the road against the Edmonton Elks, but they are back tonight against the East.
Yeah, looking to regain a little bit of momentum here. Obviously, critical game for the Toronto Argonauts, led by Chad Kelly, as the Hamilton Tiger Cats, with a win in the first of 3 games between these teams this season, could wrap up the season series.
And whistles here as the snap came up, trying to get it to Isaiah Smith. Well, Griffin's rookie, Mike Miller, wondering what exactly went wrong.
Hey, pile level. Pile level.
Kelly asking for the play back in once again, as Ben Major, our referee, resets things. And a shake of the head. The Pittsburgh man, Mike Miller, as he is trying to battle uphill against all of the irregularities that have happened at the start of this season for the Argonauts, and a regular start to this football game as well, whether it be the conditions or the whistle here with no flag thrown. So they'll replay 1st and 10 from Toronto's 52-yard line. Kelly hands it off inside. Julian Hauser makes the tackle just across the 55-yard line. This is what the Argonauts offense will look like here tonight, week 12.
Yeah, Dakota Shepley at right guard, originally a first-round pick of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, returning after an NFL stint here in 2026. Argo's happy to have Jake Herslow back in the lineup. This is his 2nd game since his return. You remember his torrid stretch last season, 9 TDs in 6 games.
So quickly they go back to him. This one hits the hands of a defensive lineman and somehow lands gently into Kevin Mittal's arms. It's a good first down for the Argonauts. And not the way they drew it up, but they'll take it.
Yeah, ball batted at the line of scrimmage. You'll see Kevin Mittal boxing out, going up for the rebound. Good effort from the Laval product to pick up the first down.
Inside handoff once again, and Smith bouncing off a first tackler, and then a second is Julian Hauser and Reggie Stubblefield. 2 big parts of this Tiger Cats defense make the tackle.
And opposite Julian Hauser on that defensive line, Philip Osai has been a great find. 13 sacks in his first 23 Canadian Football League games. Reggie Stubblefield had the big INT last week in the 4th quarter to clinch the win over Saskatchewan. And Quavian White, 2nd-year guy. He and Zamarian Walton, 2 young guys playing on that field side, getting the job done in the secondary.
Kelly all day to throw, finds Dave Unger the 3rd. And underneath, once again, Stubblefield right there to make the tackle alongside Quavian White. And another first down for the Argonauts on their opening offensive possession.
Yeah, Hamilton with a 3-man rush there. Argos get things blocked up, giving Kelly time to sort out that coverage. Find Unger for the first down.
Big packages in here. Fullback, extra offensive lineman for Toronto. As they'll show run, and then Kelly pulls it, wants to throw on the run over the top, down the field! Touchdown Argonauts, DeMonte Coxie!
Nice execution here from the Toronto Argonauts. They do a terrific job blocking things up to get Chad Kelly out on the edge. DeMonte Coxie gets in behind a defender. Kelly, nice touch pass to drop it in there for the game's first score.
All 5 years with the Toronto Argonauts for DeMonte Coxie is now the extra point. His blocks rolls around. And this one will come to a rest in the waiting arms of Winton McManus. I'm sure the former Argonaut 2022 to 2025 who jumped over in free agency happily would have taken a stop defensively rather than landing on a blocked extra point. Demonte Coxey cannot be stopped here early on.
Demonte Coxey, the man of the moment after opening the scoring. Lining up in the slot here. You see the Argos have their big team in, and that's going to create a little bit of a run look. And you'll see when Coxey makes his release against Quavian White, the halfback, kind of starts half speed, throttles down, gives a little bit of a look as if he's just going to be blocking on the play, changes the pace as he makes that break towards the corner, catching the defender a little bit flat-footed.
The Tiger Cats get another touch of the football here. Isaiah Wooden across the 40 and then pushed backwards on the special teams tackle. Brought down from behind. Alex Tukner got in there, and you can tell from our great CFL and TSA crew that, yeah, sure, the lightning and the thunder's gone, but it's still pouring.
It's still coming down.
And it's getting worse right now as Trey Ford hits the field to try and equalize the score, trailing by 6. Just an absolute downpour. Whatever you do, wherever you are around the country or the world, don't open the Doppler radar. Not encouraging, but these guys don't care. They'll play through it as they hand it off once again. Roundtree stacked up inside. As we see an impressive Argonauts defense, specifically against the run.
Shawani Tawia, global player, starting on that defensive line. This is a guy that's made some big plays for this unit alongside Ralph Hawley on the inside of Darius Pickett. Of course, leading this defense in tackles, the party starter, and a great pickup from Montreal. Bubba Bolden taking over at safety. 4 starts for him. He's had 9+ tackles in 3 of them.
Ford looks to throw as he goes over the middle, and DeAndre Smith knew he had no chance at that one. Big collision. And Ford, back-to-back possessions, 2 and out.
DeAndre Smith leading the Hamilton Tiger Cats in receiving, but like many of their receivers, has seen his pace significantly impacted by the absence of Bo Levi Mitchell.
Most snap had to be picked up and chunked down the field this time by McCarthy as it'll roll down to the 30-yard line. Janarian Grant handles the return duties for 7 or 8 yards after just a 40-yard punt. As Chad Kelly, he's got the towel on hand. The wind starting to work its way back in. And round we go. An East Division play for BMO.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you in part by The Score Bet, an official gaming partner of the CFL.
First drive for the Toronto Argonauts, it was just 5 plays, 58 yards in 2.5 minutes. And Chad Kelly completing the touchdown pass to Demonte Coxey. What will they do with their next possession? As they'll keep it through the air to get things going. Stavros Katsantonis gets the final piece. Team effort defensively, trying to find creative ways to stretch the field horizontally here. Not a big depth of target yet, other than the Coxey completion for the touchdown.
Yeah, watch for Quavian White on this one. See a little play action look here. Bit of comment in the flat, but White beats the block from Kevin Mattel. Make the play.
Another Common who owns every career, single season record at Emporia State is back to work they go, and Common catches it over the middle on the in-breaking route, working those tightened down hashes for the first down.
This number 2 receiver here out of the slot, Tyler Common. Watch him lay out with the defender on his back. Going horizontal to pull that one in.
19 yards. A lot of work here for Quavian White early on. If they're not trying to isolate him, now they'll screen things. Left-hand side is again Common. Takes the grab. Destin Talbert there to bring him down, but another solid first down effort from the Argonauts. Looks like it goes for 7-8 yards on the play.
But you wonder if there's a little competition perhaps happening in that Toronto Argonauts receiving corps. Jake Herslow came back last week. Mackay Polk now injured, but once everybody's healthy, a little bit of a battle for spots in the lineup, for playing time. Everybody looking to continue to produce so they don't become the odd man out.
Side handoff here, Isaiah Smith, as he was reaching the football forward for just a second. Corbell DeBuyer back in the lineup here for Hamilton, making the jump over from the Grey Cup champion Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Isaiah Smith getting lots of work in the Toronto Argonaut backfield. 11th overall pick this season out of the University of Guelph.
I saw some adventures on Thursday night in the field goal kicking game, Dwayne. I don't know if you caught those.
Yes.
This one from 49 yards away. That's exactly where the Red Blacks went all wrong to kick off week number 12. But this one on the money. Tremendous effort early on from distance through the pouring rain for Brady Lidster. And the Ponchos are happy. The flags are flying, the fans have stuck around, and they're rewarded with a big boot early on from the Windsor grad. It has been a weaving journey throughout this year for the Toronto Argonauts when it comes to the kicking game. Didn't necessarily predict it early on in the season, but the last time these two teams faced each other, and the only time so far this regular season, it ended, unfortunately, with Liram Hairolahu face down in the Hamilton Stadium turf in disappointment as Hamilton came away with the 1-point victory. And we just saw Brady Lidster going to work and looking fantastic from 49 yards out in the pouring rain.
Yeah, Lidster, originally a Winnipeg draft pick this season, released after camp, brought in by the Argos. As Liram Hairolahu had some struggles early in the season, particularly missing that 31-yarder that would have been a walk-off for the win.
Ray Ford rolls to his right, only a single man available in the pattern. Kenny Lawler playing without gloves because of the pouring rain, and Ford zips that one out of bounds, incomplete. He's just trying to find a first down at this point of the black and gold.
And moving the pocket around a little bit with Trey Ford, as you might anticipate in terms of the play calling, but just a little out of sync on that one.
Stubblefield making the grab. I'm sure he wished that he did. That game, by the way, against the Toronto Argonauts, before their game against Saskatchewan last week at home, that was the Tiger Cats' last victory as they lost away to Montreal, home to Calgary, and of course by 3 points in a close one against the BC Lions in Vancouver. Now on the road they go after that home win against the Riders. Face the conditions and the double blue as Curly Gittins Jr. makes the grab, but shy of the first down marker.
Hamilton struggling to get some momentum going here, just trying to set up that screen to Curly Gittins Jr. See Ralph Hawley making his presence felt.
The always active defensive tackle, the Toronto Argonauts in his second year. Gets some contact on Ford, but no worse for wear. However, the Tiger Cats slow moving here at 4-6 and no points on the scoreboard. Trying to find a way through this weather as Janarian Grant does everything he can to start Chad Kelly off. With some exceptional field position is Kelly. Yeah, he's got the hand warmer on, he's got the towel going, doing everything they can to battle their way through the conditions here at home. Well, we thought we forced him to be on the sidelines long enough that we should finally go ahead and say hello to the immaculately dry Matthew Shinetti, who's at field level.
You know, Marshall, I'm usually okay with being a drowned rat, but I actually have succumbed, and I'm going to use the umbrella. In the 15 years I've covered the Canadian Football League, this might be one of the wettest games I've ever experienced. And of course, you were talking about the gloves, and you can see that some of the Ticap players that last drive are not wearing gloves. Some of the Argos secondary are. But of course, I'm looking at shoes, and both equipment staff told me that the players have opted for 7 studs, a high traction boot. I walked the field in my Chucks, which has no traction, and it was quite slippery. But I was speaking to Drew Stroshine, the equipment director of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They felt the field was quite soft before this downpour. Let's see how it holds up. The water was pooling a little bit in the end zones, no pooling in the middle of the field, but both teams opting to change their shoes, guys. Yeah, much needed at this point. The real question was, Shinetti, socks or no socks tonight? I mean, what's the point, right? I mean, your feet just get heavier at this point, so.
I'm just noting that Matthew's little sister called and she would like her umbrella back.
think that was the Ferguson family tartan that was on the umbrella there. Not quite sure. We'll have to do some investigative reporting on that one. But thank you, Matthew, and try to stay dry, whatever you can down there. The inside run goes for 4 yards for the Toronto Argonauts. Ben Major, quick conversation here with Chad Kelly, gives the thumbs up. Ready to play 2nd down and 6. Winton McManus staring things down in the middle as they'll look to throw against their former teammate, and over the middle, dropping it in. Tremendous touch on the football. Reggie Stubblefield brings down Kevin Mittal. But again, the Argonauts finding ways through the air that Hamilton just hasn't in this first quarter to move the football.
Well, and this is a little bit of that striking the balance with Chad Kelly, where moving to his right a little bit, he's on the scramble. Do you throw the ball down the middle of the field? You hold your breath a little bit, but there's that ability, just innate, to turn that into a big play that you want to be careful how much you rein that in.
Braylon Jones makes the carry there. As we talk so much about Trey Ford and the ups and the downs and the turnover proneness, but also the sensational plays like we saw last week to Carrick Wheatfall in the big touchdown. We see throws like this from Chad Kelly rolling to his right, breaking every rule, throwing down the middle of the field. Both of these quarterbacks have a little bit of that devil on the one shoulder, angel on the other kind of feel, don't they? Especially in these kind of conditions, as it looks like even without the laces that time, it is another completion for Chad Kelly, somehow finding a way again, and seems strangely comfortable as well right now in the terrible rain that's hit us here at BMO.
Yeah, I think living on the edge is a little bit of Chad's comfort zone, quite frankly.
Go quickly here, a little bit of tempo. We usually see this from the Argonauts, and had some numbers that time, but just bouncing off the hands. Back shoulder a little bit of Tyler Common, who jumps onto his feet, ready to play on 2nd and 10.
Just rare miss there. You'll see this one a little behind Common. Tough, particularly given the field conditions, to jam on the brakes and get back to that one.
It's like that's one of those in film they probably look at and go, that's probably not a great wet weather concept, right? It changes everything. Even the good concepts aren't necessarily in the wet, as this one very nearly fooled Chad Kelly into an interception. Miles Fox dropped out off the defensive line.
Well, this is exactly it. It's Chad Kelly is probably thinking, what's 91 doing back there? Miles Fox from his defensive tackle spot. You see him bail out of there to get underneath the route. Kelly not anticipating that, thought he had a little bit of a hole. Big fella almost had himself a pick.
Lidster ready to go to work once again. A few yards closer than his last make. It was from 49. This one comes from 47 yards away. The operation steady as ever, and so too is the kick. 2 for 2 after an opening drive touchdown with no extra point was blocked. Back-to-back field goals with the double blue as it stands right now. Trey Ford looking to find a way to get the wheels turning for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and certainly some inspiration to be drawn from his efforts last week against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yeah, again, Trey Ford coming on to start the 3rd quarter last week after an injury to Harrison Frost. And it was, quite frankly, I think Trey Ford doing exactly what you would want him to do. Using his legs to extend some plays, but making good decisions with the football. You never felt like there were any forced plays from Trey Ford or high-risk plays in that ballgame.
He sets his feet here and goes vertical, but is it in behind? No! On the money! And it's caught by Carrick Wheatfall. What a great place to start. Same receiver it felt like he finished with last week, as Wheatfall becoming an ever-present target for Trey Ford. That one goes for 53, Dwayne.
Yeah, and a much-needed spark for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Here, they get the tight end in the ball game. But Wheatfall just attacking the middle of the field.
Doesn't look like it because you're standing in the pocket and there's no pressure, but that ball is heavy right now. What a throw by Trey Ford. He'll pull it off the run. Max Mang, the big German tight end H-back, makes the grab sitting over the middle. Inside the final 30 seconds remaining in this first quarter, in the offense for the Tiger Cats starting to roll.
Yeah, and you're going to see Max Mang from his tight end spot. settling down in front of the linebackers, giving Trey Ford an outlet off that run look. Nice job by Ford adjusting that arm angle to deliver that ball under the arms of the on-rushing Jonathan Congo.
I think anybody else's elbow feel like it's tearing just watching. In slow motion, what a throw. Again, is now to the ground game they go, and Hamilton shows some life to close out the first quarter. Larry Roundtree the third. Touchdown Tiger Cats.
Nice job mixing things up a little bit on this drive for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. You know, part of this speaks to the threat provided by Trey Ford's ability to use his legs, not necessarily to run the football, but to get outside of the pocket, get to the perimeter. It's going to keep those defensive ends honest in terms of their rush lanes upfield, create some gaps and a little bit of space for Larry Roundtree to do his thing.
Running back plays hero as Mark Leggio knocks the extra point through. We talked to Liam Dobson this week. He said, if we're talking Tiger Cats offensive line, we got to talk 57. Brandon Revenberg, not the loudest guy, but a pure leader by example. Feels like they're going to need all of the offensive line here tonight. Shocking start to this one in a couple of different ways. The Argonauts in control, but Hamilton battles back in. Second quarter coming at you right after this. Numbers after 1 quarter of play in these troubling conditions. It's 115 passing yards for the Toronto Argonauts, but where are the rushing yards? Where did all the rushing yards go as the ground game's trying to find themselves a little bit here? But these two teams obviously trying to get into a rhythm. And it's so interesting when you come into these delays, because what's the question we always ask, whether it's with the panel or up here in the booth during lightning delays in the Canadian Football League, is what do you have to do to get yourself ready for this? And the biggest thing is who can come out ready to play immediately. It was obviously the Toronto Argonauts, but Hamilton sees himself only down by a single score now.
Yeah, a good response to finish that first quarter, certainly for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. You don't want to get down by 2 scores against a team like the Toronto Argonauts that can put up points. So a big play to Carrick Wheatfall kind of gets things going. Not a big surprise given the way his last outing went.
Tiger Cats will kick it away to get things underway. It drops down to the always dangerous Janarian Grant. And to Litre in as part of the tackling force here for the special teams crew of Bob Dice. Once again, Chad Kelly hits the turf.
Chad Kelly keep this Toronto Argonaut offense rolling. Particularly rolling here at BMO Field, as you see his last 14 starts here at home, winning 13 of them.
Davis Alexander bobblehead kind of numbers right there. Dominance at home, the story across much of the East Division's top standings bearers, as the Toronto Argonauts, crazy to think 4-5 right now, but they really do feel like their season just getting underway.
Defensive line play there. Bit of the block, like the Berry in the middle.
Always love seeing Chad Kelly staring down 2nd and 7+. He'll go to work against a 4-man rush. Gets a hit, but throws it vertically down the seam, knocked away. Has great coverage supplied. Samari Walton right there alongside Craven White.
Yeah, had a window where he had the open receiver heading down that seam. You'll see just as the ball hangs up a little bit, Kevin Mittal has to wait for it. As Walton and White, the 2 second-year men, talked about off the top on that field side of the secondary, converged to make the play.
Erna leaned into that one. Came off a little bit of the side of the foot, but Trey Ford, the athleticism, we know, we understand the consistency of work in progress at this point. And despite the delay, finding a bit of a rhythm on the last drive. We'll see if he can continue it here in Toronto when we return.
Four receivers to the right. Ford
running out of time again. He's on the run. Nowhere to go, but he still gets rid of it into the end zone. Touchdown!
It's showtime. Let's just say this play did not end the way I thought it was going to, but I forgot we were talking about Trey Ford, the great escape artist.
Unbelievable play from Trey Ford. And who did he dance away from at the end of that play? Wynton McManus trying to grab his legs. Now they're teammates for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but when Trey is upright and on target, he can do some special things. As he hands it off here in these still rainy conditions, the drizzle continues to fall at BMO Field to Larry Roundtree's getting plenty of work tonight. But this is the conversation in and around Trey Ford, right? Is how do you get the most out of him? Because we know that he can do things like that. We've seen it several times over.
Yeah, and I think a big part of putting Trey Ford in a position to be successful is building that sort of complementary run game around him. They get Larry Roundtree going a little bit, and he and Trey Ford start to feed off each other in terms of creating space to do their thing.
Done so early on as Ford takes a big hit here, but finds the open receiver down the left sideline. Keandre Smith, who had a barn burner of a start to the season, has cooled off as he began with 25 catches in the first 5 games and 3 touchdowns, but since just 12 catches and no touchdowns.
Trey Ford taking a hit there from Bubba Bolden as he floats that one up. Safety coming down Main Street. You know, if the safety's low, good chance you're going to be able to get someone open in that secondary.
Gain of 34, and yet another game consecutively for Keandre Smith with a catch, as this time Ford used the legs. Punk gets the defender to jump, and then he'll fade it out of bounds and incomplete, but even the escapability sometimes needed to just prevent a loss that many quarterbacks would have taken on that one. Anytime you're on a graphic with Russ Jackson, you ain't doing that bad.
Trey Ford, this was a victory over the Toronto Argonauts in Week 7. Trey Ford running for over 100, passing for over 200. I don't know if that's maybe the perfect balance. The Trey Ford ball game.
Yeah, what is the perfect equation, right? Cody Fajardo's talked about that. His favorite way to win a game might not be throwing for 500 yards. Times it's a little bit less, but his own formula. I think Trey has his as well, as a flag comes up here and they complete the Carrick Weedfall. I will say, if Trey could have Russ's numbers with Russ's face mask, that much more impressive.
Offside. Toronto number 99 will go up 5 yards. We'll repeat second down.
I don't think the player safety committee would allow Russ's face mask.
We can't homologate Russ's face mask anymore. Can't get that signed up for by everybody, but at different times, certainly, I think that graphic illustrates it. But amazing to have some relationship numerically with the all-time greats as Ford continues to find his way, given the opportunity to start with Cole Levi Mitchell out with injuries since the game against Winnipeg over a month ago now, as Ford steps up, uses the legs. 2 Argonauts close to him, both wisely not taking a penalty for a high shot on number 5. Isaac D'Arcangelo will get credited for the tackle.
Yeah, Argo's bringing the blitz on this one. Trey Ford with the recognition. Not a whole lot of friction down there on that soggy field tonight.
Kenny Lawler again, saw the touchdown from him in Montreal 3-4 weeks ago, but hard to get him involved. And when Bo Levi Mitchell was healthy, so much action for Lawler at that wide receiver spot. And they work him in now on Toronto's side of the field. Ford underneath, complete. Myron Mitchell makes the grab, tries to make the first man miss, does, runs around the corner, and brought down. It's a Darius Pickett making the play. Built the stat sheet against Edmonton. 7 tackles, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and 2 tackles for loss last week.
Highly productive defender is Pickett, but here it's Myron Mitchell. He's doing well to get around the corner and move those sticks again for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Been sort of the number 5 option in the passing game, but certainly contributing. over 20 catches on the season. Top 4 in their receiving unit. All pretty close, all around 30, 35 catches on the year so far.
Roundtree, the running back, in motion here as snap comes up. Looks like an alignment issue for the Tiger Cats. Jonathan Congo giving chase, and Trey Ford uses his legs. Now he runs right past the flag and likely realizes that that play was going to be negated. It looks like Ford got caught, maybe by the attempted tackle heading to the sideline of Cameron Judge.
You step on it?
Offside, Hamilton, number 37. The 5-yard penalty will replay the first down.
Left hand in question for just a moment here, but looks no worse for wear.
You see Larry Roundtree, the running back, looking a little bit conspicuous. His misalignment.
Ford just catch one of those seams in the A-frames a little awkwardly that time. Wipes it off. And back to work he goes on 1st and 15. Roundtree will have to try and earn back the penalty yardage that he just put his team up against as he bounces to the outside off 2 tacklers. And anytime as a running back, you're running to the wide side, Wayne, and you're the one who decides to step out of bounds instead of being brought down, you've done something right.
And Larry Roundtree running through about 3 would-be tacklers on this one. A little bit about the ball security, leading with the ball on that inside arm.
Trey Ford on 2nd and 10. Steps forward in the pocket. Looked like he got away from the pressure, but Sean Lemon. Yet another lemon drop here in Double Blue. His 3rd stint with the club and continues to push his team history forward.
Well, Sean Lemon has been rather prolific in his return, coming from the top of your screen, his defensive end spot. Sean Lemon with his 5th sack in 4 games with the Toronto Argonauts this season. You can see how the field conditions affected the offensive tackle, Trevor Reed, on that one. Big, strong, long-armed dude, but just had the skates on as the cleats didn't grab there as he tried to set on Lemon.
Great hold of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. McCarthy got it down for Mark Lecchio. He tags another triple on Sean Lemon. 108th career quarterback sack, 11th all-time, and now just 2 sacks back of Tyrone Jones for 10th in league history.
Welcome back to BMO Field, where the Hamilton Tiger Cats have just cut the Argos lead to 2 with that field goal. If you're looking on the Tiger Cats sidelines, you're going to see in black and gold now Wynton McManus, who won 2 Grey Cups with the Toronto Argonauts. But when he moved over just west in the QEW, Jamal Peters, who was his teammate with the Argos when they won the Grey Cup in 2022, noticed that Wynton McManus was being quiet. He was being silent. He wasn't being that great business Wynton McManus that we got to see when he was in Double Blue and before that in Calgary. They roomed together on the road, and the one thing that Jamal Peters said to Wynton McManus one day, he looked at him and said, "You're the toothpick guy. You're great business. You're high energy. That's what this team needs right now. Don't shy away from it." Wynton McManus has wanted Jamal Peters to be more of a leader, but it was Peters who challenged him going into the last few weeks, guys, to really step up and be Wynton McManus.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. He certainly has been respected from the second that he got into the Hamilton Tiger Cats locker room, coming over from free agency as Monte Coxie makes the grab that looks like it's good for a 1st down here. But he did have to evolve from being just the guy that played for the other team that you respect to being the guy who's on your team, who you're talking to and learning from and respecting every single day.
Reassigning his disdain for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, directing it towards his former employer, the Toronto Argonauts. Got some friends over there, but not on game day.
So what Wynton can do here is he splits out to cover in the pass game that he does so effectively. His big hit coming down from far. There's Jamal Peters being Jamal Peters.
Fuck that boy.
And the Toronto Argonauts, something we see a lot with Kevin Mittal. So those quick hitters into the flats, etc. in the screen game. Running the ball short. Great recognition of that from Jamal Peters as he gets on his horse and coming up in a hurry to make the play.
It's all no worse for wear as he helps out this time pass protection and a throw into a tight window, but that's nothing new for Chad Kelly. Jake Urslow makes the grab. Told us this week he is dangerous. He's ready to start cooking the way that he did in 2025.
Yeah, Urslow, one catch for 25 yards last week in his season debut. First catch of the evening here today.
So quick, Kelly with some pressure coming, spins away from two defenders and then will slide his way down in front of Braxton Hill. Quentin McManus running mate in that linebacking group right there to cover down, and we see Quentin McManus, what he has done in his time in the CFL. Pretty special stuff. 471 total tackles. My favorite note was in the 4 years that he spent with the Toronto Argonauts. He knows what this rivalry is about. He led against all opponents that he faced. Most tackles, 6.2 per game against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who he decided to join. As Jamal Peters makes another tackle here on Monte Coxie alongside Braxton Hill, but get the sense that Wynn might have a special play or two ready for Labor Day.
Yeah, a guy who certainly recognizes the significance of the rivalry games. Always intense, but maybe taking it to a different level when these two teams clash. No doubt his performances against the Tiger Cats over the course of his time as an Argonaut, making an impression on those in black and gold when they needed someone to step in the middle to replace the departed Devin Barrison.
Garbuckle in with short yardage, but they'll call time here on 3rd and 1.
Timeout, Toronto.
Arbuckle, I think, saw that they had something misaligned or maybe a substitution error at some point, but it is wild as well when we see Wynton McManus' 10th year in the CFL. It feels like yesterday that he was the guy who's talking about how he really had to battle on special teams just to get an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
It's something that so many players at different positions forget is important when you come to this league, and Wynton is proof in the pudding.
Yeah, scratching and clawing to make an impression, get that opportunity to not be a part-timer, but to eventually earn a full-time spot, grow into an impact player as he has in the Canadian Football League.
Arbuckle with the first down, jumps across, heads back to the sideline for Chad Kelly. Continues to pick away. A talented receiving group looking to spread things around that they've done so much early on in this season. Just 3 incompletions so far for Kelly, and that 1 touchdown to Monte Coxie, but he's already got completions to Dave Unger. We've seen Urslow, we've seen Common. Evan Mittal, of course, getting a couple of grabs. And this time he'll hand it off. Plunging between the tackles, Wynton McManus all over it, Isaiah Smith. The rookie getting introduced to the longtime vet.
We know McManus, obviously significant leader during his time here with the Toronto Argonauts, the defensive heart and soul, really, of this team.
4-man pressure again, and Kelly throws into a dangerous spot. Stavros Katsantonis has got another one. Picks off Chad Kelly and returns it to the 40-yard line. Trusting his eyes, Katsantonis, one of the most instinctual players in the entire Canadian Football League, drives downhill and digs it off the soaking wet turf here at BMO Field.
Hamilton Tiger Cat safety, Stavros Katsantonis, he's telling you that's 5 on the season for him, and keep an eye on him. And what I want you to watch is how soon he starts making his break on that route. Reading what's happening in the pattern, he's on the move to get underneath that one before Chad Kelly, long before he releases the football. High fives all around in the Hamilton Tiger Cat coach's booth.
Stavros was staring to his right with no belief he was going to move that direction. Just turned and dead sprinted to his left-hand side as Roundtree gets another carry here. The tackle is going to be by Sean Lemon on the play. For the Tiger Cats, without Bo Levi Mitchell, Jamal Peters told us the defense wants to win football games. Don't really care what the situation is at quarterback. On the other side of the ball, doing everything they can to keep the Tiger Cats into this one. It's a 12-10 ball game, but the 3-minute warning here at BMO.
Well, this was us just a few hours ago. And now we're all warm and toasty in studio, but we brought back the C&E food. Here you go, Enoch, Milton, the macaroni and cheese shake you ordered.
Macaroni and cheese shake.
Oh, delicious.
Thank you, Kate. Appreciate it. I got to tell you, I was doing Thursday night in Montreal, and Kate said, well, we hope the weather holds up Saturday in Toronto. I went, what weather app is she using? She's way ahead of it.
She jinxed it.
Kate's got her own weather system going as flags fly here. It looks like it's going against.
Hamilton, number 56. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Trevor Reed has the penalty, push Hamilton back, stunting any momentum they might have had coming out of this 3-minute warning with the full field to drive.
I was going to say, given the field position, tough to start the drive with a penalty. Knowing how frequently that impacts the success rate.
Lemon digs in. And a rush off the edge. Trey Ford looks to throw in another flag.
Offside. Hamilton, number 80. Down.
Just ahead of the football. Just mistiming that waggle. That's a back up a little further.
You wonder, without Scott Milanovich around throughout the week, just trying to find the normal rhythms for the Hamilton Tiger Cats a little bit off right now. Got one good drive, field goal as well, but that was a sloppy start to the final 3. And it goes just 6 seconds for the 2 and out after the penalties.
Yeah, and frustrating from a coaching perspective when you look at the situation, as the penalties sort of put you in a tough position in terms of trying to succeed on the drive, but also you haven't taken time off the clock, giving the Argos the ball back probably in pretty good field position here with time to execute a drive to at least get into field goal range.
McCarthy fires this away. Janarian Grant in his own 45-yard line. Crosses the 55, breaks 2 tackles, now a third. Bounces off a 4th, trying to get the edge. Augustine giving chase as well as Hubert. And down to the 20-yard line. So for the Tiger Cats, trying to create any momentum at the end of this first half. It's negated by Janarian Grant's excellence.
Look here at the return wizardry of Janarian Grant, the CFL's active leader in all-purpose yardage. Taking that right back to where the Ticat drive started.
46-yard return. Chad Kelly gets it away with pressure coming from Julian Hauser. And Reggie Stubblefield and Quavian White finish things off on Kevin Mittal. Great team defense that time from the Tiger Cats, trying to answer after that big special teams return allowed.
Well, big defensive play from the Cats as they try to limit the damage here, look for another, try to create another turnover in scoring opportunity for the Toronto Argonauts. One of the things catching my eye in the early going here is the underrated aspect of Chad Kelly's game, which is his athleticism and escapability, as that's been on display a couple of times here.
2nd and 17. Underneath, Kelly goes. It is hauled in. Jalen Jones plucking his way forward. A conservative approach, rare to see Kelly this season. He's been so aggressive down the field, just putting his head down as Jones right into the middle of the Hill-McManus duo.
Good physical football play there from both sides. Jones looking to make an impression as he's in the lineup, sharing that backfield with Isaiah Smith this week in place of Sam Hicks.
Minster looks to remain perfect on the ball game, 23 yards away. Off to do sweets for the FIFA World Cup, leaving behind some gifts for the Toronto Argonauts. Inspired by the iconic Green Lantern universe, don't miss new episodes of the gripping murder mystery everyone's talking about. Lanterns from DC Studios is now streaming only on Crave.
Do you have the favorite superhero?
I've just been waiting a couple of days to read that one. I was really excited to get the opportunity. Love me some superheroes.
Kind of a Buzz Lightyear guy.
Oh, that Lightyear origin story coming out. It's a game changer for any child of the 90s. Ronnie Augustine in the backfield with Trey Ford, a Griffin with a Warrior. And it'll be the Waterloo alum dancing away from 2, now 3 players, turns on the Jets and slides his way into the Hamilton bench.
This is the kind of play that the Toronto Argonauts were looking to avoid after Trey Ford torched him for 109 on the ground a few weeks back.
Marcus Johnson couldn't track him down. There is nobody quicker when they square their hips to the line, look to throw, and then decide to get out of it. And Trey Ford, wild escapability, given the opportunity. Now he looks to throw over the top and dropping it in. Did he get a foot down? DeAndre Smith looks like he did. As Bubba Bolden there in coverage from free safety. A gain of 24.
Trey Ford hanging in the pocket. Lets him go. A nice separation there for Keandre Smith along the sideline. Feet down before his momentum carries him out of bounds.
I asked if he got one in. I think if he had 3, they all would have been in. Great feet from 85 that time as Ford starting to roll here at the end of the first half. Using the legs once again and dips the shoulder. Leans forward and slides his way close to the first down marker to get to the Toronto 26-yard line. They'll spot him 3-4 yards shy.
And it's so critical that you have the disciplined pass rushing against Trey Ford. You got to stay in your assigned lanes. You've got to be aware of not getting at drastically different levels, basically, as pass rushers, creating gaps through which he can escape.
Flags fly once again as Augustine makes the grab. He was running to the flats, but not sure if there was a Tiger Cat who might have been a little ambitious in the waggle once again, or was it a line issue?
Procedure Hamilton, number 85, will go back 5 yards. We'll repeat second down.
Keandre Smith out a little early again. See, that time it's not even a waggle issue, as he's aligned on the line of scrimmage in that particular formation, just trying to anticipate the snap count taken off a little early, perhaps a side effect of a team that has started 4 different quarterbacks this season.
Absolutely. In motion once again. Smith hits the line, full sprint this time. Kenny Lawler reaches up, and the gloves are back for Kenny Lawler. That's a gain of 15 yards. One of the game's most dangerous.
Yeah, you get the full elevation, full stretch here from Kenny Lawler. Going up to get this one, Lawler will surpass 6,000 career receiving yards in last week's outing.
Now 82 consecutive games with a catch that you see there. Longest in the CFL amongst active players. Ford takes the snap, rolls to his left, and fades it to the front of the end zone. Fighting back, they'll say incomplete. Eric Wheatfall almost had another special touchdown reception from Trey Ford.
And you'll see this one carries just out of bounds, but don't mind it in terms of, people will look at perhaps the risk factor with Trey Ford, but putting it in a spot where if Eric Wheatfall didn't get it, nobody was getting it.
Got it up quickly as well, right? Rolling to his left, didn't wait on it. Tough delivery, even more difficult catch. Couldn't haul it in. It leaves 2nd and 10 from the Argos 20. Ford over the middle of the field, rifles one complete to Keandre Smith. It's good for a first down, but now the challenge becomes 8 seconds remaining in this first half.
And decision time
Hamilton
certainly
called the timeout
for Scott Milanovich.
Take one shot and then try a field goal. I guess the question becomes, what's the one shot?
Yeah, what's your best play?
Interesting yard line too here, right, Dwayne? Because it's not, a 2-point play.
Yeah,
per se.
I was going to say
it's in that awkward in-between spot. You got lots of end zone to play with Trey Ford. Five-point ball game. Hamilton started so slow, crawled their way back in. This is a big one. Empty it out for Ford. Looks to his right, slant, caught Keandre Smith, rolling down inside the 5. Stopped shy of the goal line, 2 seconds remaining.
Gotta go. Jake Dolegala and the short yardage gang make their way out onto the field. Yeah, I'm sure that moment of panic on the sidelines for Scott Milanovich, where it's either score or get down.
Yeah. Late substitutions from the Argonauts here. No hesitation from Milanovich, to his credit. Sending out the big man, Jake Dolegala, in short yardage. Statement opportunity for the Argonauts defense as flags hit the air and Dolegala fights at the line of scrimmage.
The location of these flags screams too many men.
It's a touchdown for now, as the Tiger Cats have taken the lead on the final play.
Toronto had 13 players on the field. That penalty's declined. Hamilton scored a touchdown.
Of the first half, yeah, so they ran 2 on and 1 off, trying to get the short yardage defense in, and somehow the Tiger Cats are leading at halftime.
Well, big finish. After a slow start, terrific response. Bit of a gamble going, quarterback sneak from the 2, but Jake Dolegala manages to get enough forward momentum to punch that one in.
Nine plays, 70 yards, and Trey Ford cranked it up with the lower body as well.
Well, Trey Ford looks like he's settling into a little bit of a groove in this one.
Extra point is good. Most dangerous when he is a dual threat. We haven't seen much of it in this ball game the same way that we did when he played against Toronto for the first time this season, but on that final drive and that 9-play, 70-yard excursion, just over 90 seconds, got a bit of a lather going. Got a chance to run free through the secondary a couple of times as well.
Well, Trey Ford spreading the football around to that receiving court. Certainly Keandre Smith becoming one of his favorite targets along the way. He had the last catch in that drive to set up the Jake Dolegala plunge. I think those sliders we saw him getting during the weather delay before this game powered him through in the first half.
7th touchdown rushing of the season for Jake Dolegala helps the Tiger Cats get their lead here going into the half. And there you see Keandre Smith as he is standing alongside our Matthew Shinetti.
Now, Keandre, critical first down grab there. Take us through that final drive. You guys are now up going into halftime.
This is willpower. When the elements are against you, it's all about will. Who wants it more? It's not about who's better. It's about who wants it more. We want it more.
Did those 2 sliders help you want it a little bit more? Because our cameras caught you during the weather delay. Go up, and I think it was your girlfriend and your family.
My
sister, my apologies.
Yeah,
but you did go ahead and take a couple sliders from her. Did that help you out?
Chicken fingers, it definitely did. Much needed protein.
All right, man, we'll see you in the second half.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
All right, Kate. Well, the Ticats have found their way back in it, but I've noticed you guys are now back in the studio. I guess it's true what they say. The puppy dogs want to be in the studio when the weather is the way it is. I'm noting that, guys.
There's no better way to experience Argonauts football than with a group. Bring your team.
Sliders from your girlfriend. Actually, that's my sister. That's going on the blooper reel. All right, Enoch, let's talk about Trey Ford right now. And we really thought going into this game, especially with the weather tonight, we thought we would see him just run the ball left, right, and center. Not the case. He's got 170 yards. That was a really nice drive to end the half, and he is doing very well in this start tonight.
Listen, he's continue on with the performance that he had last weekend. This is the Trey Ford that Scott Milanovic wants to see. He's not running too much. Of course, obviously, we know what he's capable of doing, but only 3 rushes in the first half. And he's sitting in the pocket finding Kenny Lawler. I know Kenny likes to see that as well. But for him to be able to do that and sit in the pocket, especially in the high-pressure situation that it was at the end of the half, trying to get some points and saying, hey, look, we're not going to kick a field goal. We're not going to play it safe. And at the same time, you got to understand the type of plays that are being called. Scott Milanovic is trusting Trey as well. Because if he wasn't, they would have ran some safe plays, some run plays, but he was looking for his receivers. I love seeing Trey Ford in the pocket and finding his guys. Getting those points are huge going into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, and on our way back from down there in Hamilton on the Bell Chopper, that was nice. I mean, they had good. The Wi-Fi was excellent too. But I noticed one thing is that the running for Trey early, he didn't run, and then this last drive, I think all of his yards, 48 yards he's got right now, 28 yards, all that came on the last 5 minutes of the half, and really that's what you're going to get in a game like this in these conditions. I'm going to run a lot of plays, as many plays as I can to get Trey's legs going, especially in a game like this. But the second half, again, I said this to me and Dwayne were talking before the game, and we were just discussing Trey's performance last week. He was as efficient as we've seen him in his career, but also if they get the lead, he's really tough to handle. In the second half, if they can get a lead and Trey using his legs in these conditions, that's when he's at his best.
You know what, on the other side of the ball, too, Sean Lemon, I think all of us are sitting here. When he was coming back in, we're like, okay, how much does he have left in the tank? Milton, in 3 days' time, this man is turning 38 years old. He looks like a rookie right now. He is phenomenal.
I know he likes to be called the Lemonator, but I'm going to call him the Lemon Taker. You know, the Undertaker when he comes back from the death. That's Sean Lemon. Now, every single year, people are saying there's no way he's coming back again. But every single year he comes back and he's making plays. He's just not out there taking up space. He's been playing in 4 games and he has 5 sacks. He's getting it done. And is he a Hall of Famer? I'm going to say yes. I think he is a Hall of Famer. He has 107 sacks. And every single year he's making plays. He's starting the same year as you, right?
Yep.
Why is he still playing? You've been retired for about 11 years,
He took a couple years off.
Doesn't count, Enoch. Doesn't count. Go back to playing, Enoch.
I'm good on this side.
All right, we got a great football game tonight, 17-15. We're going to talk about the CNE and all the festivities and all our competition and what we did before the rain fell right after this.
Winning, winning, winning. Always start strong. The struggle when we finish. Keep on winning, winning, winning. Winning, winning, winning. Keep working non-stop. From beginning to the ending. Winning, don't stop winning. Can't stop winning. Won't stop winning. Think we know it's winning. Don't stop winning. Can't stop winning. Won't stop winning. Only thing we know is winning.
We have to compete. Now, in all fairness, I know I'm very fired up that I won that game, but Ches won the first game. Enoch actually won this.
How many times did it take
Enoch
to get
didn't
that?
win that.
How many times did it take you to get that? Enoch, I got
Talk about it.
Tell the truth.
Enoch,
Tell the truth.
you got 50, 11 pounds on you. You couldn't beat me.
That was also the kids. Now, this one's legit.
Bucket.
That's a bucket.
I didn't ensure everybody else making their buckets.
Because no one else made their buckets. You know what, Enoch Mwamba, I'm going to give you credit. You made it. Now, overall, though, I do think I won. I do. Come on. I mean, what? You whack-a-mole. You won whack-a-mole?
We need a judge.
Hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I think Enoch was the MVP. He won two events.
What events did he win?
Won the hammer throw and the
We need to start playing some real games. This little childish stuff we do.
I got you.
Also, you know it's an annual tradition when we have to go get some Canadian National Exhibition food here. So we have this, you know what, I think it's nerd clusters on top of a chicken finger. But that seems like a Milt Stiegel. And then also, this is a lobster on a stick. Oh. You're very welcome.
Milt, this is you. This got your name all over my alley,
and
baby.
then finally, we have macaroni and cheese smoothie. Anyone?
You
Enoch?
got that.
No, you promised you would.
Can we be honest here?
Insist.
I mean, lobster is such a great thing. Why would you deep fry lobster? It might as well be tuna or something.
Why are you knocking it if you haven't tried it?
I had 3 of them already.
Oh, never mind.
My goodness.
You already had 3, huh? And some of the stuff I done seen you two guys eat, that's tame right there.
No, this is just different.
Milton, this is the worst thing I've ever
had. The macaroni and cheese
That
smoothie.
is absolutely. Anyone else want that in the studio? No? Maybe back at BMO Field? You guys can come grab it. No problem.
People at the C&E were wonderful to us. The food choices are a little
They were great. Now, Kevin Ivan, by the way, he is being honored here at halftime. And you know what? I feel bad for these guys, too, on the night like tonight, because he's so fantastic and he deserves the celebration. But there he is. There he is in the fam jam. You love to see it. We'll get you back to BMO. Second half action. Ticats up by 2.
See you all.
Welcome back to Toronto. The halftime stats for you. A 2-point ball game here between the black and gold and the double blue. We wouldn't have it any other way. Quarterback Chad Kelly. The Argonauts is standing field side with our Matthew Shinetti.
I know it seems obvious, Chad, but what were the challenges midway through that first half with how much of it was a downpour in the stadium?
Yeah, we just gotta keep doing whatever we can do, keep the ball clean, keep it on our side, and just try to play hard.
Appreciate this. Thank you.
Yep.
Trying to play hard, trying to find a way. This is one of those trying to gut it out kind of days as we see Chad Kelly in that first half, Dwayne, as he was moving it around. And sometimes not the most orthodox of ways, but certainly finding solutions.
Yeah, I thought Chad Kelly did a pretty good job. Obviously, you'd like to have an interception back from Stavros Katsantonis, but, you know, got the Argos going in a big way. You talked about the idea of people being ready to play after that weather delay. I think Chad Kelly certainly indicated he was getting the Argos on the board right out of the gate. Now it's their turn to respond, as the Hamilton Tiger Cats did as that first half went on.
See Kelly talking it through with Mike Miller is certainly the vote of confidence in Chad Kelly going into this season, with Mike Miller chosen to be the head coach of the Argos moving forward, and they have leaned into that partnership. Said the communication is the same, the roles are a little bit different, but they trust each other, just like he's working with them in a positional group, despite having the big chair now with the Argonauts, as Janarian Grant returns out towards the 40-yard line. And right back to work they go with number 12 at the helm.
Yeah, and we'll see if Chad Kelly is aggressive out of the gate here, trying to push that ball down the field, get the Argos back on top as they were for most of the first half, until Hamilton managed to score on their final possession.
14 of 18 in that first half, continuing to settle in. Inside handoff, Isaiah Smith with the carry. The Argos pounding that football on first down. The former Ticat Chris Kolinkowski is actually into the middle of the line here, working at the center left guard spot.
Chris Kolinkowski, originally a Toronto Argonaut draft pick, out of York University. Best known, of course, for his time anchoring at Winnipeg Blue Bombers offensive line.
Michael Couture to Kolinkowski, and then he moved on to the Tiger Cats. Traded enough depth, but playing against his old club. White ended up with the football at the end of the play, but after the whistles had already blown.
A good run there from Isaiah Smith. See the strong lower body there, just bouncing off of contact.
Technically, this is the third time these teams have played this year because they did play in the preseason, but even in that preseason game, Isaiah Knight did not play, which was a little bit curious because I thought, well, it's an opportunity to get more reps. Your rookie guy, they were already so confident in him in training camp. They said, we don't really need to throw him into the line of fire. Let's save him for the regular season. Because of plays like that, you see he already appears well seasoned as Tyler Common makes the grab for a minimal gain, maybe a yard on that play.
Common, who joined the Argos late last season after being released by the Indianapolis Colts, where he had attended training camp. It gave him a little bit of a head start in terms of learning the Canadian game before coming to camp this year, and a guy who has stood out, earned a starting job coming out of camp, a couple of big games early on for him.
Played that Jake Herslow role as well while Jake was trying to get himself ready to play as Kelly gets loads of time, especially on the roll, and throws a strike. They'll go for a gain of around 13 yards. There's Common once again, who told us earlier this season that Chad Kelly is incredibly direct, which helps you pick the game up real quick here in Canada.
Here you'll see the running back, Isaiah Smith, playing the role of personal escort for his quarterback, Chad Kelly. Last couple seconds he needed to deliver that strike to Common.
By the way, Common, 6 years in Emporia State, no transfers.
Yes.
Against the transfer. Slant complete here. Dave Unger, the third, brought down by Zamari Walton. But an interesting receiving group that's been created here in Toronto, right? For a while there, it was like Tavares Daniels, got used to some of the other names that were more established. Now Devontae Coates has become the vertical threat. Unger's a grinder, but all of a sudden Herslow and Common are playing at the same time. Kevin Batal's growing into his role.
Yeah, the evolution, adjusting to arrivals and departures from the roster. Dejon Brissett, of course, another one.
Pound the rock. Once again, you see Dakota Shepley there as well, chasing down the play from behind. Another one of those evolutions here in 2026 on this side of the football. It's amazing how the names and the numbers change so often in this rivalry, sometimes for each other's teams, but the rivalry is always good.
Yes.
There's always good close games, despite the fact that changing things up endlessly, it seems. Kelly takes a toss and comes to the backside slant. Little slow play that time and delivers to Tyler Common once again.
Yeah, you talk about the rivalry and you think of examples over the years. I mean, these two cities being so close and players moving back and forth between the two teams. I mean, you think about times over the years where you've had roommates who are on opposing sides of the rivalry, but guys live together because they've changed teams in mid-season or whatever.
Nice open field tackle. This time by Reggie Stubblefield. Expect nothing less, but Isaiah Smith will gain the first down. Drives the legs just enough to get away. And Alouette hopped over in free agency a couple seasons ago.
Again, you kind of see the balance from Isaiah Smith. He was a guy who stood out to us as the top running back in this 2026 draft class. Continues to prove it with each successive outing as a Toronto Argonaut.
Smith brought to the end of that play. A little bit reminiscent the way the draft class has played out to when one Daniel Adebaboye got taken as well by the Toronto Argonauts, where it was like, this is the guy, and there's maybe 2 rounds until the next running back that's going to be in play for this, and Smith was playing that role in this previous draft.
Yes, if you're looking for a guy at that position, don't wait too long.
The Argonauts are happy with what he's delivered for them. He goes to the sideline here. They'll play 5 wide. Kelly rips one into traffic. Touchdown Toronto. Kevin Mittal. And the double blue retake the lead.
Chad Kelly going for the heater here. Mittal crossing the middle, nice adjustment, good body control there. Pivot, reach back and haul that one in for 6.
High snap. This time got down by Burnip and Lister knocks it through. You know, I was watching the Little League World Series on TSN the other day. Prepping for this game, they said some kid, 13-year-old, was throwing 99. I snapped my head around and said, what? It's pretty much what Chad Kelly just did. Ripping it to Kevin Mittal.
Kevin Mittal, the latest Toronto Argonaut to find the end zone. After this drive put together by Chad Kelly and the Argos offense, Tyler Common got it started with a couple of touches. Dave Unger coming underneath. A few solid Isaiah Smith runs along the way. And Kelly finishing it. Threading the needle. To the former Heck Creighton winner from Laval Rouge-et-Or, Kevin Mittal.
I love hearing quarterback coaches talk about accuracy and arm strength. They kick things off here and it skips off the wet ground at BMO Field to Isaiah Wood's arms. There is a flag down the play, but they say sometimes you can hit the door, sometimes you can hit the keyhole, sometimes you just break the doorknob. I think that's what Chad Kelly did as we roll on from the CNE here at BMO Field. It has been a wild one here at BMO Field. Kay was hanging in as well as she could. Shooter was down there with the umbrella. Enoch, nope, that bailing. Look how quick Davis is getting out. Like running a 40 time from Chesney trying to get it. And then there we see Shinetti wander, getting a sense for the field. Only one problem, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Oh.
Follow the rules, kid.
No, to be fair, not a double-sided sign. Probably never knew. Although Matthew spent so much time here.
Probably passed it on the way on.
Yeah, it has been a challenging one, but these teams have recovered nicely. Give us a pretty darn good football game. Trey Ford and Chad Kelly back and forth midway through the third quarter. Now it's Ford's chance to answer. Plenty of time in the pocket, now has to escape. Spy gives chase, gets a hit on Ford as well as he completes it across his body. And Max Bang at the 25-yard line makes the grab.
And meanwhile, Darius Pickett in hot pursuit of Trey Ford. There was a shot just as the Hamilton quarterback throws the ball. Driving effort there from Max Bang.
Greg Quick working with the linebackers, the defensive coordinator of the Argonauts told me a couple weeks ago he's had some sleepless nights over the last 3 months, but the resilience of the team just trying to find answers. Certainly giving them belief they can have success down the stretch. The next challenge is facing Trey Ford, who will light it up for Kenny Lawler. Backpedals, makes the grab, and steps out of bounds. Tavares McFadden supplying the coverage. They got tangled up, but Lawler wins the battle as he usually does.
Yeah, Tavares McFadden looking a little frustrated, I think, feeling that he got pushed off. You're going to see McFadden, the corner, in coverage right here. Watch Lawler, little shove right around the top of the number 2.
Multiple flags come out on this snap as Ford showing some frustration in the backfield. Perhaps procedural again for the Tiger Cats.
Looked like it may have
procedure,
been.
Hamilton, number 85. We'll go back 5 yards. We'll repeat first down.
DeAndre Smith just having some trouble with his timing here again.
Ford sends the receivers in motion. Now spins out to his left. Doesn't like him. He'll be able to get the edge as he squares up and off his back foot. Just chucks it up. They'll say he stepped out of bounds.
And you saw Trey Ford flushed out of the pocket in a hurry. But keep an eye on Keandre Smith on this one. But Trey Ford, you saw how quickly he was flushed from the pocket. He never had a chance to look that way.
Oh, and drifting backwards, not much of a chance to set his feet either and reassess things. He's trying to give Keandre an opportunity down the field. A missed opportunity there in a couple of different ways for the Tiger Cats.
Time count violation, Hamilton number 5. It's a 5-yard penalty, it's still going to be second down.
Now they'll back things up again.
A second and extra long does not favor the offense.
Scott Milanovic, got to think right now, just trying to communicate alongside Jared Baines, who's working as the OC and quarterbacks coach to Trey Ford. Like, hey, let's get organized. We've got a real opportunity to get a victory here on the road, win the season series. They got to clean up some of the unforced errors. Ford on 2nd and 23 will try to go for a big chunk of it. Had an arm punt that fell through the hands of Benji Franklin.
Yeah, looking to take a shot on a 50-50 ball, gambling to Kenny Lawler. That one comes up short as Benji Franklin was really the only one that had a shot at it, but just unable to hold on.
Punting unit out here for Hamilton. And that will kick out of bounds after a hop just inside the white line. And a missed opportunity here. The Toronto Argonauts defense trying to flip field position. Chad Kelly 5 of 5 for 41 yards and touchdown that last drive. They could have set him up real nice. They held on to that one. Turns out a guy that we let hang out in our studio sometimes for the CFL and TSN is a decent football player. This Stavros Katsantonis. Have you heard of him, Dwayne? He's got some decent instincts.
Yeah, he knows a thing or two about playing in the secondary. Interception for him last week. That was number 4 on the season. Getting a great jump on the ball there to tally number 5 tonight. Now last year, 3 Canadians were among the tie atop the league lead in interceptions. Stavros part of a 3-way All-Canadian tie this year.
Side handoff, yeah, it's Benjamin Labrosse, Tyrell Ford, of course, brother of Trey, twin brother, and now sitting right there, Stavros Katsantonis, which, by the way, coming into this week as well, there's a Canadian tied for the league-leading quarterback sacks as Matthew Betts is back to his old tricks.
Yes, you knew he was going to get hot at some point. He has done so.
Defensive difference makers for the national status. Inside, check down. Tyler Jones starting to show well the big body, bouncing his way through tackle attempts for a gain of 11 before being brought down by White.
Listen, about 240 pounds. With a banger in the backfield. Chip on the defensive end on his release, helping out his offensive tackle and protection.
Go run, give run this time, and can't escape. Fantastic tackle. Mitchell Agude. Wrapped up Jones, got more than enough to finish the play.
Yeah, Agude right on the right side of your screen. Stands up his block. Sheds that one, fights into the backfield to make the play.
We haven't said his name much here tonight, but every time that I'm watching, whether it's in person or afterwards as well, Burton Crook makes a lot of plays.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it feels like somebody that Hamilton fans should get excited about. He's just constantly making these great plays when you watch it back as Kelly finds the open receiver with room to run and across the 55 and more. Goes to Tyler Common, who continues to add on to his impressive tally on the night. And a little round of applause from his quarterback as well.
Yeah, Common, number 2 receiver here, second from the bottom of your screen, working from the slot. Defender falls to the inside. You see how he works back to that soft spot near the sideline. Making an easy throw for his quarterback.
Nolan Olm is onto the field here as they'll give a little inside pitch. Herslow wrapped up and thrown down by Winton McManus, who introduces himself to his old teammate, Monte Coxie. Nice play out of the bunch this time, sneaking a touch for Herslow.
Yeah, Common right on the hash mark on this one. Pitches that shovel. He's got Olm as the lead blocker coming around there. That stiff arm up in the face mask for Winton McManus.
Exchanging pre-Labor Day pleasantries. And we'll see that matchup again down the road, Hamilton Stadium. As Kelly, long play action and then leaping backwards. A great battle of athleticism that is. Jamal Peters against DeMonte Coxie. Chad Kelly in his career gone over the 10,000 yard mark. And I mean, it shouldn't feel unbelievable considering the fact that Kelly has put up big numbers and all the rest, but limited time, it feels like he's been here relative to Flutie, and you see how close he's getting.
A rather prolific career, certainly for Chad Kelly.
Looks to add to it here on 2nd and 10 as pressure coming. Escapes, looks down the field, sees receiver in the back of the end zone, and just off target, falling away, incomplete. 10 for Kevin Mittal.
Just losing his footing there. It appeared as he threw the football. Now, I will point out, by the way, passing yards as a Toronto Argonaut, Doug Flutie only in Toronto for 2 years.
Yep.
96, 97. Grey Cup winners both years. A couple more MOPs on Doug's show.
A very nice Davis Alexander bobblehead to go next to my Flutie Argos bobblehead.
Nice.
I'm excited about that. Good start. On the money once again. Going towards Dwayne Ford's favorite building in all of North America.
Oh, the food building.
It's a waiting for him. After this game wraps, but plenty of great football to be played. Here is Carrick Wheatfall and the Tiger Cats offense, now trailing by 8.
Welcome back to BMO Field. The Argos have just extended their lead to 8 with that field goal. Now the Ticats are back on offense, and so is Carrick Wheatfall. Last week before the game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, his mother Carol gave him a call and said, it's time to get into the zone. Not only for his team, but for his family as well. It was Carrick Wheatfall's grandmother, Rose, who passed away days before he faced the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And in those moments, when the ball, the 41-yard touchdown pass from Trey Ford was coming into his hands, the one thing Carrick Wheatfall kept thinking, I have to give it my all. Not just for me, not just for my team, but for my grandmother, Rose. An honor for his grandmother is now a play of the year. Guys.
Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, an incredible story and tremendous highlight, of course, is Wheatfall taking that stair step in his career. 2024 with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, just 18 targets, 73 last year with Winnipeg, and this year on pace for a career high. And with more and more targets like this come more and more plays that have been more successful than that one, with the unfortunate conditions slipping off his hands just in behind. But what a tremendous game he had against the Rough Riders last week. Maybe it's that Bombers thing. He's used to seeing those green and white uniforms.
And here off the Trey Ford scramble, launching himself 15 feet to go and get that football. Big touchdown for the Hamilton Tiger Cats in that ballgame.
Tremendous range. Certainly was growing into a relationship with Levi Mitchell as well before the injury is now over the top and dropped right into the bucket from Ford. It goes to Wheatfall down the sideline, tag on the penalty yardage as well.
This is an absolutely incredible throw. Perfect timing, perfect placement, perfect shot from Ford to Wheatfall. Just gets the defender Amos to settle briefly, but hits him in stride, dropping it in just over top. It's a halfback to Sean Amos. Trying to get out there.
45 yards, Wayne.
After review, there's no penalty.
They'll wipe out the penalty yardage, but to the point we've been having discussing Trey Ford, we just saw the crazy touchdown throw that he had to carry Wheatfall. And then the next play he'll come back and skip a 5-yard hook into the feet of Kenny Lawler or something like that. You go, oh man, if you can make a throw like that between coverage, I mean the door is unlocked on potential. We'll wait to see the consistency as well as Ford tries to follow it up. Pressure coming and he'll just outrun it right around the corner and gets the first down himself to the 14-yard line, a gain of 11.
But you see the faith that Trey Ford has in his own speed, his own ability to accelerate here. It looked like a Darius Pickett might have an angle on him, but Ford outrunning that in short order.
Pickett was running right at him. I mean, it was closing out like a basketball defender, and you think, oh, perfect. And he just runs around you. Incredible the speed to turn that edge. 1st and 10 Hamilton. Pressure on, and down goes Ford. The Argos heat him up. Bubba Bolden.
Right defensive call at the right time. Bubba Bolden, nominally the free safety, but you see him lining up in the box here, and he's going to hit this one running. They've got the protection outnumbered. Trey Ford trying the reverse pivot escape there, but Bolden would not be fooled.
You know who he looked like there? Tyrese Beverett.
Well, the guy he was stuck behind on the depth chart in Montreal. Felt that safety was his natural position. That's where he is now playing as a Toronto Argonaut.
Still making plays that look like that as a flag down on the turf. DeAndre Smith makes the grab, sorted out. But yeah, he said he wanted to be a free safety. He was getting moved around. There was no real fit for him in Montreal. They called him in and said, hey, it's a salary cap thing. He's like, guys, I'm on a rookie deal. It's not a salary cap thing. You just don't have a spot for me. It's fine. I'll find one else for me.
Yeah, guys, been around the world of pro football a little bit. Their great college career at the University of Miami.
He did say all love to Montreal.
Yeah.
We're going to decline the penalty. It's going to be 3rd down, and it's the end of the quarter.
Is happy to be in Toronto, playing off instincts. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats trying to ring themselves up a victory here on the road. It started sloppy, it was wet and slow going, but the offenses have come to life as we hit the 4th quarter at BMO. We got a good one going here in Toronto. It was worth the wait. 25-17 is your score going to the 4th quarter, and the passing yardage pretty similar, rushing yards almost identical. Quarterback sacks, maybe the most interesting part of this one, is Trey Ford trying to avoid making the big mistake, right? Put the ball into the wrong spot at the wrong time. But as it stands right now, these are two teams that know each other incredibly well. They're obviously going to play again on Labor Day. Dwayne, this might be the difference at the end of the day is some of the snaps are kind of down and low and away, and the field goal unit still finding a way to cash in.
Yeah, I'm sure struggles for anybody handling the ball given all the precipitation we had earlier. Of course, grass field is still going to be wet, so things may be imperfect, but punter Mitch McCarthy doing a terrific job rescuing a couple there.
See if they can cash in once again. 26 yards away. Trying to make this a 5-point ball game. Again, a low snap. And spot on, McCarthy. I think he's just gotten used to it at this point. Doesn't even mind having to dig it out. BMW Championship comes down to the final round tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. You can watch live on TSN, CTV, and Crave. Also watching some of the IndyCar from Washington, D.C. today. Nice. Our boy James Hinchcliffe of Oakville, Ontario.
Excellent.
On the call there. And is outside, Mari Walton. Looks like they're going to have to start moving him closer and closer to the football if he keeps getting involved like he has throughout this season. Went ripping for the football. Kevin Mittal's not going to give up many in the way of turnovers. Looks like it goes for a gain of 5 on first down.
Yeah, just a quick hitter there to get things started. You know, Mittal with a lot of catches, a lot of touches close to the line of scrimmage early in his career, but the Toronto Argonauts looking to get him the ball and some more vertical routes this season as well.
Quick release this time and nearly intercepted. Well, we saw earlier on, Dwayne, Miles Fox dropping out from the D-line. All of a sudden, there's last year's East Division Most Insane Defensive Player nominee, Julian Hauser.
Yeah, from his DN spot, you can kind of see from his posture. He's looking to bail, get out underneath. Again, perfect call at the perfect time.
Hauser sifting through the traffic as well. Tracking it like an outside linebacker or defensive back, not an elite pass rusher that he is. And Isaiah Wooden does everything that he can. Bring that back into a decent spot for Trey Ford and the Tiger Cats offense, down by just 5 here in the 4th. The Lemonator waiting for his next opportunity to make a mess in the backfield. He's already been stepping up his game in double blue here once again this season. The elder statesman, but still got some pop flying around the edge.
Yeah, he knows his way around the pass rush game, certainly. A terrific signing for the Toronto Argonauts when Andrew Chatfield went down, looking for a little bit of depth and a little boost to that pass rush. They're losing one of their key guys, and Sean Lemon has absolutely, if you look at guys like he and Bubba Bolden, having some familiarity with Greg Quick and his system from their time in Montreal.
Ticats begin with a handoff here. By the way, we saw that shot of the rain reappearing in the 4th quarter, reminiscent of what it looked like in the first. And we'll keep an eye on that, see how it changes things. But they just did the tremendously upgraded in-game experience of the storm surge here in BMO, where they turn the lights out. It feels like you're in the middle of a big thunderstorm, which we didn't have a simulation of. We saw the real thing earlier on tonight. But as soon as they did that, it's like they welcomed the rain back into the stadium. When the lights turned back on, it was all of a sudden the weather had gone sideways again. So Trey Ford up against it here on 2nd and 5 as they'll empty out Larry Roundtree. 3-by-3 for Ford as he rips this one up in the air, and it drops incomplete. Not sure if it was down around his waist that threw him off that time, or did his arm actually get affected, but obviously the ball well off the mark.
Yeah, you're going to see it looked like his arm got hit as he released this football, which led to that one floating upwards rather than forwards. Tiger Cats fortunate to avoid the turnover there. Ralph Hawley making the play.
McCarthy goes from superhero field goal holder to his day job. Ripping it down the field as the Tiger Cats punter this season. Special teams coverage is there. They stood up Janarian Grant for a second, but keeps running. And Jordan Crook makes the special teams tackle after a punt of 58 yards. Grant has been close a couple of times. Just kind of that second wave of tacklers needed to finally bring him down.
Janarian Grant had a lot of success for a lot of years in the Canadian Football League. Veteran return specialist.
Kelly, hands off inside, pumps right down the chute, running free and chopped down. Stavros Katsantonis has to make the play on Isaiah Smith, but nice design and tremendous blocking up front.
Yeah. Get a look at the work of the offensive line here. Double team up to second level, creating that lane. Isaiah Smith hitting at full speed. Generally a good thing when the first defensive player to touch you is the safety.
Sprint draw this time, and Smith once again puts his head down. He had a gain of 29 on the last snap. This one goes for 12 yards. Actually, that's Quinlan Jones that gets the touch.
Yeah, Smith getting a quick breather after the last big run. And big back looking to bring the physicality there. Collision with Destin Talbert. Defensive back did well to make that play.
Jones back into another touch. Trying to run it off tackle. Feels like the re-addition of Dakota Shepley has certainly upgraded this offensive line. When you look at that interior three of Shepley alongside Peter Nicastro, and then Ryan Hunter anchoring things at left guard as well. They've solidified that interior three. As long as they're healthy for the foreseeable future, that's a dominant trio.
Yeah, and you look at the tackle spots as well, hoping to get Kendall Randolph back in the lineup soon. An important free agent acquisition from Winnipeg in the offseason, looking at him to play right tackle.
Trying to chop down the pass rush, and Kelly on the money off the hands, though, of Dave Unger III. There's a flag on the play.
Rare drop there, but here you'll see again the work of the O-line. Watch the simultaneous cut blocks, get the hands down for the quick throw. And just looked like that would just handcuff Dave Unger a little bit.
Yeah, a bit of an exhale that time from Scott Milanovich, as well as I think he feels like he might have dodged one. Tiger Cats feels like they're going to need to do something to outpace Brady Lidster and how consistent he has been here tonight. Oh, now Lidster pushes one to the right from 33 yards away, and a clap of the hands from Isaiah Wooden Sr. Well, we saw a miss from the Argonauts kicking game that defined the last time that these two teams played, and this one square in the middle of the field. And pushed wide. Hamilton with life. Trey Ford in his evening here at BMO Field in Toronto against the Argonauts. It began with a couple of puzzling throws, maybe because the conditions a little bit off kilter, and completing it to your defensive back, Regis Stubblefield, isn't great, but then all of a sudden leans into one as the ball probably felt like it was 3 times its intended weight. And then hitting Kenny Lawler, then ripping it over the middle to Keandre Smith as well. Get a couple of beautiful runs mixed in, dropping it in the bucket down the right sideline to Kara Wheatfall, and Trey's cooking.
Yeah, it felt like Trey Ford really kind of settled in, particularly as he got into the second quarter of this football game, got into a little bit of a groove. Had the Ticats in the lead at halftime. And a pretty good spot here on the road.
Oh, and now the ball comes out. It's loose. They'll let it play out as the Argonauts trying to dive on top. And as Hamilton had possession from the Brady Lidster missed field goal, right away, Toronto's pass rush creates the much-needed turnover in a short field.
Well, you can see this one coming in slow motion. Guess who's in on the play? Coming from the backside. Number 42, Sean Lemon. Good power rush, gets the hands off. Left side of your screen here, you'll see Lemon. Swiping that right arm, the throwing arm, as he makes the tackle to force the fumble. Age ain't nothing but a number.
Ball fake here. Kelly. It's a complete. Kevin Mittal makes the grab. Feels like one of those plays as well for Trey Ford where the internal clock goes off and you kind of have this conversation with yourself for just half a second where you're like, I can probably get away with another half second, right? Nothing bad's going to happen. And Sean Lemon goes, It's like, I'll always make you pay if you hold it for that extra half second.
Yeah, Sean Lemon has made a career of making people pay.
Amazing, too, when you see the celebration, especially some of the younger guys, that defensive secondary celebrating with Lemon. Get the sense that when he dropped back into the room, anybody who didn't know who he was probably found out real quick.
Yeah, and it had a guy who had a similar effect in Montreal, 2023. Joining that team. He and Darnell Sankey. You know, think about Reggie Stubblefield, who wasn't in the starting lineup at the start of the year, but joining the starting lineup around a similar time as that Montreal defense and entire team got on a roll en route to winning the Grey Cup that season.
Injured Argonaut down is Brandon Kemp, who is the right tackle, so gingerly makes his way towards the sideline, but good to see him up on his feet. I wonder if that doesn't create a shuffling of the deck where the former Tiger Cat Chris Kolinkowski, there you see him, 67. And it looks like he's gone to left guard, and Ryan Hunter will shift over to Kemp's spot at right tackle.
Yeah, it's interesting that the full effect of this on the offensive line. As you see Kolinkowski to center, and DeCastro goes from center to guard, Hunter from guard to tackle.
Now Kelly pumps wide open. Coxie's got two. Touchdown Argos. Well, don't give Chad Kelly 90 seconds standing around to figure something out. That'll often be the result down inside opponent territory.
This game started with Coxie going into that southwest corner end of the end zone. Finding himself wide open. Here, clearly some miscommunication on the back end for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Lidster from an eerily similar spot to where he pushed the field goal wide is right down the pipe on the extra point. Little pump to the outside and into the waiting hands of DeMonte Coxie. Mike Miller congratulating his standout receiver. One of the easier touchdowns for Chad Kelly in his return to double blue love.
DeMonte Coxie finding the end zone for the second time here tonight. Now I want you to keep an eye on the corner to that side. That's Jamal Peters. And what he's going to see is Coxie shows block. You're going to see Common on the outside. He's going to show hitch, so it's got to be hitch, right? That's what Peters is thinking as he's coming up to play the hitch. Coxie lets him go, slips in behind him for some easy pitch and catch from Chad Kelly.
Out the back door, and Mike Miller congratulating again his receiver DeMonte Coxie. Chad Kelly, by the way, 3 touchdown passes now in this ball game. Hasn't done that since July 2nd. He had 3 touchdown passes or more 3 of the first 4 games of the year. Returning to those sizzling waves at the start of the season as a big return from Wooden here. Pushed out of bounds into his bench. Return of 41 yards. Ethan John finally does the job.
Isaiah Wooden doing his part to try and get the Tiger Cats back into this ball game. You see his speed going lateral. It's a nice effort here from Ethan John, the second-round pick out of the University of Windsor. Make the play, taking a good angle on the speedy Isaiah Wooden.
I love Ryan Baker as well, the backup middle linebacker now, obviously with Quinton McManus in the game, working downfield to try and find anybody to block. He was trying to do kind of like a movie 300 where he was going to take on the entire special teams unit if he could. Didn't get a piece of anybody because Wooden was running away from them all. Now Ford with great starting field position. Flips it to Myron Mitchell. Blockers out in front, and Mitchell stacked up and turned down. Deshaun Amos chops him down. Yeah, I think Mitchell wishes he had that one back, Dwayne.
Yeah, it looked like there may have been an opportunity as he got out on the perimeter where it was the receivers blocking to sort of turn it up inside, as of course everybody's fighting for contain. Deshaun Amos stepping up, make a play. The former Tiger Cat, year in Hamilton.
Not inside here. Larry Roundtree going nowhere. Run defense all over it. And Roundtree lost the bucket as well. Interesting quote from Paul Peters this week talking about Amos making his way back to Toronto. When you asked him about, are you angry with him? He said, no, he knows he's supposed to be a Tigers guy.
Yeah.
He might be on the other side, but he knows.
Two good friends, teammates, as Toronto Argonauts reunited last year in Hamilton. But Amos finding his way back to the big smoke.
Ford on 3rd and 5. Pressure coming. And Trey trying to get the first down. Can't do it with his legs. And awkward play there with Roundtree, not knowing he was going to be the intended target. Looked like Louis-Philippe Gauthier was the closest to the football by the end of the play, and Ford's frustration evident.
Yeah, Trey Ford just trying to buy time. This time he has a sense that Sean Lemon's coming from the backside, hoping someone pops open as he's scrambling, but just nothing doing. Argo secondary got things covered up there.
Turnover on downs will make it 2 on the evening for Hamilton, as Kelly pulls the run fake and completes. Murray Walton again right there, all over it. Getting an injury update from our Matthew Shinetti down on the sideline that there is Brandon Kemp of the Argonauts. He is out officially with a foot injury at this point, so it explains why the big man was struggling up onto his feet and then to the sideline. So that shuffled offensive line that you spoke of, Dwayne, looks like that's the way they'll go the rest of this fourth quarter with 5.5 minutes remaining, clock rolling, and certainly continuing to lean on the big back in Jones.
And not that the Argos will ever have any hesitation to take the odd chance throwing the football, but situationally here going partly the conservative route, but partly the route of keeping that clock running as well, limiting the Hamilton Tiger Cats' opportunity to get back in this one as they need 2 scores.
Kelly takes the snap, hands it off. Isaiah Smith steps in for Jones. The Argos push the pile as flag comes out at the end of the play. Watching Ryan Hunter, by the way, a right tackle in place of Brandon Kemp the last couple of plays, reminds me of the interview we had with him going into Labor Day last year, where he had played a bunch of snaps at right tackle and then left guard and then right guard and then basically everything other than center. The big 62 you see right there, he's been their swing guy. He was talking to us about just how it's, some weeks you line up and as you're about to snap the ball, you're like, am I a tackle or a guard?
Horse-collar tackle, Hamilton number 1. We'll go up 15 yards from the end of the play. Automatic first down for tomorrow.
Stubblefield flagged at the end of the play, so Toronto continues to get good field position here.
And you'll see the tail end of this one as he gets swung around behind the running back Smith. Left hand goes to the collar.
Another flag against Hamilton, trailing by 12. Mlanovich trying to reel that in on the sidelines as Smith, quick little jump cut, but took too long trying to get to that sideline. Hamilton defense flowing.
Yeah, doing a nice job flattening that one out at the point of attack. Taking away the preference to run downhill. Isaiah Smith.
Interesting change in the running game as well, though, right? From what we've seen tonight, clearly conditions would indicate that you might want to go that direction, but a physicality to the Argonauts running game we haven't seen really the last couple of years. Maybe even since AJ Ouellette was in the backfield. Is now Smith running his way right down the pipe. And finally it takes Stavros Katsatonis to bring him down, but not until a gain of 14 yards.
It looked like Isaiah Smith was thinking hurdle on this one. Great cut to make the first one miss. Nice block there from Desmond Bland. And he thinks about going airborne, but couldn't quite get there as he was tripped up from behind.
Watching too much Herslow tape. Kelly lets the play and game clock burn. Squeeze the game here and even the season series before Labor Day. Is right down the middle once again, leaning towards the end zone. No signal yet. Looks like they'll call it just shy.
Well, that run kind of turned into a boulder rolling downhill. Isaiah Smith barging his way behind that offensive line. Note in the shuffle, by the way, Kolonkowski.
The 1 yard line. It's a 3-minute timeout.
Chris Kolonkowski in at guard. He didn't go to center.
Yeah, so moving the pieces around here as they will get a chance to punch it in. Thanks to Isaiah Smith and Quaylen Jones' hard work on the ground when we return after the 3-minute warning. Right. Lion. It's like I have a common t-shirt. Do they sell like fun fan gear?
You know,
are we doing shoeies in the stands? What's going on? Week 12 in the Canadian Football League wraps up with a great one. BC's annual Watermelon Smash. It's the Riders and the Lions, live from BC Place. Kickoff 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, right here on TSN. Toronto Argonauts attempt to smash their way into the end zone here, perhaps punctuating the game. Oh no, the snap is bobbled in the backfield and then caught by Kevin Mittal as a flag hits the deck from Ben Major, our referee, in behind the play.
Kevin Mittal in motion. He saw it coming. He knew he was going to get caught and kind of tried to change up his timing to get out of the way.
Dwayne, how long have you been calling Canadian football?
Oh, long time.
We had a major foul, horse collar tackle.
5 years, something like that.
Okay.
First down at the 1 yard line.
Quarter of a century. Have you ever seen cross-ball motion result in catching your own snap that hit you on the knee? Because I don't think I have. As they'll punch it in, and the Argonauts will go ahead with Chad Kelly. Keep it simple. And extend their lead against their rival Tiger Cats. There's some hoops, little free throw celebration here from the squad, but they went quick and tried to take advantage.
Getting it done. Chad Kelly capping off a big fourth quarter for the Toronto Argonauts. You know, and this was a trend that the Hamilton Tiger Cats hoped they had broken. They're a team that had been badly outscored in the fourth quarter of games until last week. They outscored Saskatchewan 16-0. But the trend has returned. The Toronto Argonauts are the beneficiaries.
Well, and the cyclical nature of the Canadian Football League, as we just talked about Week 12 wrapping up with that game between BC and Saskatchewan. We're thinking about the fact that Edmonton, we get a look at the touchdown drive here with Isaiah Smith and Quaylen Jones going to work, pounding the rock. But Edmonton had a really bad loss on the road in Montreal, went home and beat up on Toronto, 30 points. And Toronto saw what Edmonton did after their own bad loss on the road. They come home, and now they're laying the boots to Hamilton, right? It's kind of one of those message-sending victories that you need to come back to your place and get back on track, and Toronto has certainly done that.
The Argos deciding it is better to give than to receive where beatdowns are concerned.
And Argonauts went 7 straight runs for such a pass-happy club. You can tell how happy they are on that sideline. Really to be battling through some of the adversity that they face, injuries and that offensive line moving around. I'm sure this is very sweet for Chris Kolinkowski as well, but you know, as always in this rivalry, Dwayne, it's okay, great. Labor Day's next, right?
See you in a couple weeks.
Just setting the table. The season series looking like it will be tied. Nice physical return by Isaiah Wooden, the best in the CFL, continuing to run hard. Late in the game, trailing by 19 points.
Well, the uphill battle just became a whole lot steeper for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. See former Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawk fullback Sebastian Parcelidis getting some time on special teams. Youth sports, training camps, and preseason games in full swing. Some preseason action today.
Ford connects with Kenny Lawler, dives his way close to the 50. By the way, preseason action where the entire province of Quebec played against pretty much the entire province of Ontario in preseason university action.
Yes, news out of Quebec. The Lower La Tendresse Region Bold, star quarterback from McGill, attended the CFL Combine this year where his athleticism dazzled many. He took some reps at receiver. Starting at receiver for McGill today.
Changing things up as Larry Roundtree gets the carry inside for a Hamilton first down.
Shout out to our friend Deshaun Stevens at Persevere Sports, getting some of the youth sports news out. Now, I know our buddy Luke Wilson, by the way, doing some
Coach
some
Luke.
coaching. Yeah, Coach Luke. Helping coach the Guelph Griffins in camp. They were at Concordia.
Yeah, all those RSEQ schools finding a dancing partner with the OUA as former OUA standout Trey Ford continues to find some completion. Second and short coming up here with 2:02 remaining. Great chat with Bubba Bolden as well this week. Really impressed, by the way. He's attacked being the free safety of the Toronto Argonauts here. Feels like they found a real good one that's going to be a story down the stretch.
Yeah, well, I think it speaks volumes that he had barely been released by the Montreal Alouettes. And Greg Quick, who had him with the team in Montreal last season, Greg Quick moving to Toronto this year as the defensive coordinator, but very quickly said, yeah, let's bring that guy in and let's get him in the lineup.
It was interesting too, asking this week, what does a CFL free safety have to do to be successful? And he was great with us, very conversational, but he took about 30 seconds without saying anything.
Yeah.
And just sat there, and then he said, you have to have the ability to be a dynamic run stopper and be rangy in the pass game. And most importantly, you got to be able to tackle in the open field. He just said it's so damn wide. You just end up having to fill the lane and make open field tackles. If you can't play that position, he believes he can. We've seen it. As a flag comes out here, and this throw going away on Kenny Lawler, incomplete.
We had holding, Hamilton 61. That penalty's decline. The result of the play is turnover on downs, touchdown for Toronto.
And Toronto gets the football back as Nate Dumoulin-Duguay gets the flag.
The one challenge sometimes as the quarterback gets scrambling around. Offensive line backs to the ball, can't see where he is, lose your angle on a defender. Have to grab on.
Inside running game continues for Toronto as the Argonauts are set to move back to 500 on the season. You would have told Toronto 10 games in, you're sitting at 500. Probably wouldn't be thrilled, but based on the start of their season, well, training camp, moving here, home field, FIFA, World Cup, it's not the, I mean, if you're sitting there even and playing for an important playoff spot, right?
Yeah. Yeah, with a lot of obstacles overcome to this point.
Their team is kind of built around the concept of resiliency that Mike Miller has talked plenty about. Just trying to find a way to create answers and also keep the focus in the right place as well, because I thought it was kind of apropos that I asked him this week about you move home, sometimes you get really comfortable and then guys get complacent. Well, we're at home, so we can do whatever we want. He's like, I actually addressed that 2 weeks ago. He said, I basically said the exact same thing, that's exactly how we needed to frame it to our guys. It's like, it's nice to be home.
Well, I found it interesting. You know, we talked about the Argos getting off to a good start tonight, maybe being the team that was less affected by the weather delay. And you got to think that all they have been through this year, the weather delay just made them shrug their shoulders.
Yeah.
Not a big thing in the grand scheme of their 2026 season.
And certainly after they had the 4-interception game on Thursday Night Football against the Calgary Stampeders that they still won, I kind of came away from that one going, it feels like an asteroid could hit BMO Field and the entire Argonauts team would go, okay, so where are we playing next week?
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll find somewhere. We're playing football, wins and losses, it matters, it counts, yep. A confident group certainly led by Chad Kelly, Engineering Grant did tell us as well that kind of feel like they have an opportunity in any game when they have Kelly leading the offense.
Yes, there is big play potential all over that offense. It all starts with number 12.
Inside a minute remaining in the weather-delayed Week 12 showdown between the QEW rivals is high and outside. And Kenny Lawler against the Darius Pickett. And they'll say Lawler got a foot down, picks up 6 yards on the play.
Trey Ford, no doubt hoping for a shot down the field, but essentially the check down to Lawler along the sideline.
Ward trying to get his receivers organized here. Tyson Middlemost onto the line of scrimmage at the top of your screen.
Free safety Bubba Bolden already about 25 yards deep.
Yeah, he was dropping out real quick as maybe too deep, left wide open in that dig spot was Carrick Wheatfall. Gain of 26 on that one.
Hamilton sort of maxing out what they could grab there in front of the DBs. And Toronto essentially taking a posture that don't let anything get behind you, but that sometimes leaves a lot of room in front of you.
Ford looks to his right and rips this one in between coverage. And Bolden came over to chop out Tyson Middlemost, but he hangs on. Trey Ford into a tight window.
Delivering that one with some velocity.
Goes quick to the line. In garbage time, Ford will hang it as high as he can and just give Kenny Lawler an opportunity. They'll say no, incomplete. See plenty of that matchup with Tavares McFadden and Lawler coming up on Labor Day at Hamilton Stadium.
Calculated gamble here with the jump ball to Kenny Lawler. Completely understandable. Maybe just a quick bobble there as he went up with two hands, secured it with one on the way down. Landing on that white stripe out of bounds.
Really seems like the only guy, though, you can notice with Trey Ford, the trajectory. It's like when he sees Kenny, he just goes somewhere high, right? As high as possible. Give him an opportunity. As Ford works the pocket and will complete Keandre Smith as time expires, puts his head down into McFadden. Smith gets everything he can, but it's the Argonauts who seize the day, come home after a blowout loss to the Edmonton Elks, and even the season series with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They get back to 500, nearly double up the black and gold, and Mike Miller and company got themselves into second currently in the East Division. The Montreal Alouettes are playing a special brand of football right now, and we've seen that, but in a battle of the midfield here in the East, certainly Toronto a big step forward here tonight.
Yeah, no question. Something of a message sent in many ways. You're beating a division rival, the team challenging you for second place in the standings right now. In addition to that, as you finally move back home, establishing a little bit of dominance here at home. I think a message they want to send, certainly, against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who they'll see again in a couple weeks.
The panel was here. They were at the CNE, but that's how long ago that was. We had lightning. We had games. And then we had the game, finally, when the weather cleared out, and we got a chance to see the Toronto Argonauts send a message against Hamilton. Great matchup, interesting result. It's time now for SportsCenter. Laura Dykin and Jermaine Franklin. Thanks for watching, everyone.